I can't click on anything. I'm in some mode. I don't know what's going on here. Oh. Sequel night. Have a good one. And my browser just crashed. And I can't click on stuff. And I can't type. Did you maybe... I can highlight things. It's acting like my keyboard's not doing anything. Let's see that. There we go. It wasn't busted at all. What is going on? Something is chewing up. Oh, it's patching.
What?
This is what's doing it. Oh, I screwed up the video as well. Am I streaming? We can hear you. Yeah. All right, let me see if I can fix the cameras. Yeah, this is exactly why the physical hard drive is a bad thing. Literally everything hangs if I and now I can't move the mouse.
Here you go, John. Thanks.
There we go. Okay, I think we're all set.
Papa.
Good night, handsome pants. You sleep good, okay? Okay. I love you, dude.
I love you. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Sleep good. You're my boy. All right. Sorry. I only know plate up. All right, ladies, I'm gonna head to bed. Doggy sitting tomorrow. All right, cool. When the AI bubble bursts, 401ks will get virtually zeroed out. Companies will go bankrupt. Yeah. We'll see. They always bail out companies that should fail. They're real good at that. Yeah, they snuck in the auto bailouts in the bank crash in '08. All right.
Two forest houses.
Overcooked. So we're just gonna start looking at baking games here. Overcooked selling for $1.69, boys.
Overcooked? I can understand, actually. Overcooked is really hard. It's also just poorly designed, I think.
You think it's poorly designed?
Well, it's just so hard. Even with a few people.
So you find it frustrating?
It's just really hard.
But is it fun to play?
Mm-hmm.
So is that poorly designed?
I don't know.
Is it being hard part of why it's fun?
I don't know.
These are good questions to ask oneself before volleying out poorly designed. But no, it's, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Okay. We're going to bring this over here. We're going to bring up Steam on the web browser so I can easily copy pictures and stuff. Baking game. Baking roll. Cooking slash baking. We're going to say cooking probably more. It's not quite baking. So there's Overcooked. So what is it you're working on? Let me see here. Sequi, what is it you're working on? If you told me before and I forgot, I apologize profusely. So we're going to say Overcooked. Overcooked series. Tango made a really cool Overcooked Minecraft minigame in Hermitcraft Season 10. It's called Hungry Hermits. What the heck is Hermitcraft? You guys are all saying these things and it just sounds like made up things. Man, I understand my grandparents so much now. Hungry Hermits. Oh, it's this. Okay. We'll check it out here. Overcooked, mostly positive. Let's see. Let's find a good distillation of Overcooked. That's pretty good. I remember that level distinctly. This one's a classic. This one's a classic. I feel like the thing about Overcooked is it was just like, let's just try every idea we can come up with this mechanic and see what we end up with. Okay.
No one can see. Okay. Well.
We do a shout out.
Rosin, I'm going to give you a house now.
Make sure I'm following him.
Yo, Rick, what's up? What's up, man? Yo, thanks for following me, Cricket. Don't know if you hear me. Probably not.
Whoa.
Okay.
No, it's a rough topic, But I want to stream more now, so that's at least a goal for me. Now that kind of, I don't know, I don't have much pressure with names and such. How do I say the name? Okay, so it like originates out of two German kind of words. So it's Sigwi, but that would be pretty German accent heavy on the first and last bits. So I'm always don't really care, to be honest. Sigwi. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you would write it that way, yeah, probably. Yo, thanks to Blurk. I don't know. That's where I now don't know how to pronounce the name. I'm sorry, but thanks for the follow. Yeah, basically, I don't know. I think I can even show the game, even though I'm in the middle of reworking. Oh, there is no game because I removed the base notes. Yeah, so we have no game, but it should be a game, right? And it's basically supposed to be like a resource management idle game, factory builder. You place nodes, make quests. I don't know. Oh god, you haven't heard my fake German accent, haven't? I haven't, no. It was nice having you in my chat for Free Fire. Oh no, don't worry, I'll come back. I like your chat very much. I like it very much in there. It's very wholesome chat, very wholesome community you have. Okay, so we need to create this config manager. So currently my plan is like to load these config files I wrote in JSON and actually use them to create the nodes so I don't have to code them. Yeah, but I need some like normalized way to get those configs. Otherwise, I will duplicate the code even more and more. I realized after like doing this for the UI, it's like 50 lines of code for loading the quests. No. You don't want to use Pragma once? Well, I do want to use it, and oh yeah, it's missing yet on the config manager. That's a good catch. I often like I often just don't use it until my program crashes and I need it. Because like I know what it does, right? It's basically singleton, if I understand it correctly, right? So it just makes sure it's once, right? But like I don't really get when I need to use it. Like I don't know it in the moment, you know. So I always just ignore it until it makes problems. What's up? That's the same as the header guards if under it, but more modern. Wait, what? It does the same. So this is a duplicate, right? You're saying this is the same now. That's insane. I'd have to refactor so much of my code. I mean, I guess I'm just stupid, right? But thank you for the tip. And Tapia, thanks for the follow. Man, the follow's coming in today. Sup, Tapia? Sup? Ah, not stupid, but unexperienced. And I hate it. Okay.
You go over there. Okay, you four.
But now I need to like kind
God, I
of.
would love to put you on that table where the three
loading from
It
Jace.
did the correct move with that. Oh, it actually did increase them. Okay.
And like I know this library I've like downloaded here is very OP, yeah. So I even saw that like in the recent changes. Oh no, did I have changelog there? They had like let me look for it. Beast. Serialize and deserialize from Beeson. Guys, binary JSON. Like imagine. Oh. So fast, safe and loading times. Volume is a bit low. Mic? My mic? Mic volume? Oh yeah. Yeah, I see. Why?
Step 1, watch every Jonas Troiler video. Oh, I'm just looking at baking games right now specifically. How you doing, second? Was also watching Sequi. I don't think this can work for us. This isn't really baking. It's more like it's just waiting. Classic game though. Oh no. It's not going well with the old burgundy exit. Wasn't bad enough that I had to go immediately, so it must not be that bad. Yeah, maybe they just want to make sure everything's okay. I'm sorry, dude. All right, we're gonna blast through this.
Hey friends, I'm Ashley and welcome to Ashley's Cozy Corner. So far in the series, we've talked about pixel games, management games, photography games, and now we're on to cooking games. Cooking is such a fun hobby for most of us, and although I cook every single day of my life, and you think cooking game where you play as an Indian mom who immigrates to Canada with her family in the 1980s. Cook various dishes and restore lost recipes, hold branching conversations, and explore South Indian food in this story about family, love, and loss. When I think of cooking games, this is definitely one of the first ones I think of immediately. It's not only about cooking, of course, so while you're playing tiny mini games trying to figure out the recipes, you're also enveloped in a super emotional story as it's super heavy on the narrative aspect. The game focuses on South Indian cuisine and even includes an in-game cookbook inspired by authentic cuisine, so you could try the recipes out in real life. Definitely a fan of this, as I've tried recipes from games like Stardew Valley, and it's always fun doing them both in-game and real life. This game...
Spiking fevers. Are you on, do they have you on antibiotics? And I literally can't sit. I can only lie down and stand, but if I stand too long... Oh. Dude, seriously. Have you gotten the results back from the whole thing, though?
is around a few hours, ranging from 1 to 2 hours or so don't expect a super long game, but that bridges time, memories, and the aroma of fresh coffee. Another game where you're not just cooking, but the story aspect of the game is pretty heavily involved. This one has that nostalgic feeling of an older cooking game, with the pixel graphics of course. This game is called Pixel Cafe. your own cozy pizza shop, do your best to fulfill orders from customers while making enough money to keep your shop open. Upgrade your shop with new toppings and equipment to compete against your pizza rival, Alicante. Your own restaurant and prepare the most iconic Japanese
they usually
dishes.
prescribe
Take
them at
orders
the
from
beginning. I
customers,
did get
prepare
my
their meals with
results, and I don't
passion,
have the
and
C
listen to
word,
their
so that's
opinions to
beautiful.
become better and
Nice.
better with each passing day. Your main goal in Tokyo cooking: learn how to prepare the most delicious sushi. You'll be doing every step:
Thank God, man.
washing the rice, cooking the rice, cutting the meat, veggies, placing them in the roll, adding sauce, and even rolling and cutting the sushi roll. There are over 32 different ingredients to use for the rolls and step-by-step recipes to follow in
Mike
game.
R,
Different
how you
customers
doing,
will
man?
come in and give different advice on your sushi rolls, and if you complete
Yeah,
specific
Mike's
mini games
fighting a
related
good
to the
fight
order,
right
you'll
now.
get extra money as a bonus. Bonus cozy points: your ingredients never run out, so you don't have to stress about using too much. Fruit Bus is next, available on Steam for meals. Change the world one apple at a time. Fruit Bus is a unique game as you drive around 3 different islands with a food truck. You won't just be cooking meals for customers, you'll also be adventuring around and trying to find new
That's
and fun
terrifying.
ingredients to use in your recipes.
What?
There's different biomes
They use they're holding the fruit and then using the knife like this. That's like, nah, you don't do that.
to find ingredients in, as well as many different places from farm to table. Grow fresh ingredients in the greenhouse, cook pastries and sweets in the kitchen, and serve your baked goods to hungry customers in your own shop. In living
So what I kind of need to do is think about this from cohesion, where really what I'm making is a series of mini games that all sort of feed into each other. And I'd like to do it. The thing I don't like about the way that the Fantasy Life does it, at least the new one, is the mini games are identical. All crafting mini games are identical. All I'll call it harvesting, except for farming. Even then, it's almost the same. All collecting or harvesting mini games are the same. And then combat's the only thing that has dynamic variety. And so if you're playing one of the two, crafting or farming or gathering, it's identical. So I would like for the mini games to reflect more of what the essence, what's the essence of baking, I guess. Or cooking. And I guess cooking involves heat. That's like one of the essential things typically. Like almost always heat and ingredients. Gathering gathering the ingredients, which we could say is happening when you're getting your inventory, doing other things, right? So that's sort of out of the way. So we're not really going to count that. But preparing them and then cooking them. The thing I don't like about the Fantasy Life cooking is that it doesn't make any sense for each of the things that you're making. None of it has any cohesion. Like it's like, oh, I'm going to make sushi, and you've got a boiling pot of water that you're dropping stuff into. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess you're making rice, but it's, I don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't add up. It's the same for fishing. Yeah, they're all the same mechanics. Making them different would bring you the game above the rest. Yeah, if you're just doing the same thing as everyone else but worse, that's not a great angle. Right. Yeah. I think for me, because I'm trying to come up with like, okay, like if I was to just like, I'll just pick the most popular, what's the most popular baking game, and what's the most popular farming game, and just do that, right? That's not going to work. I think that's what you're kind of talking about, Greg, right? But if I go, let me see, what can I do to make the interplay of these things kind of marry each other really well, where it's like, oh, now I get to do this, because like I'm kind of getting tired of farming But oh, that's right. When I go over to, like, I have these new ingredients, so now that means I can do this new thing in baking or something, right? Maybe it's like that more, where they sort of feed into each other in an interesting way. And I mean this more even from like from a gameplay standpoint. I can't quite put my words together for it, but that the way that one plays is complementary to the way that the other ones play, but they're not the same. So maybe they have a bit of the same, like, there's a hint of the sameness throughout them in some way, but they are completely different. They are, like, notably different. And I guess maybe paper prototyping and, like, pretending to play it might be a route to go here, where I just start to go, okay, let's see. Now I'm going to bake. What is that? And just sort of make it up on the fly and start to go, okay, would this work? And I got my little guy and he's doing this. And then what does this look like? I think overall, I mean, if you just do what Fantasy Life did with a decent sized team, even if you make it in a different setting, you're doing the same thing with limited resource. You might want to break some type of mold. Have you tried using AI, going with an LLM and say, I would like to make a baking game, but I see they're all very similar? I mean, I've done that stuff before and I'm never happy with the result. I could try it again. Every time I try to do that, Mike, I just kind of get frustrated with it, and I feel like I'm like wasting my time more. Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to it. I just personally, and I get, maybe it's because I'm not paying for the models, the, like, good ones or something. If you just do what Fantasy Life did with their decent sized team, even if you make it in a different setting, you're doing the same thing with limited resources. Or just focus on, like, 3 jobs you put in the same universe. Right. No, I'm with you on that. I mean, for the prototype, I kind of need to do something like that, where it's like, okay, this is going to be one of them. And that's the other thing, is as I'm developing it, I could easily just be like, okay, here's a new life. What would be called a life in Fantasy Life. Like, here's a new one that now interplays with all these other ones. So I could just set it up where it's just like, just expect a new one once every 6 months or something, like, if I get something worked out. I mean, mining, combat, and then X, right? Right. And the nice part about this is a lot of this stuff doesn't involve anything to do with the net code in many ways. The sort of air quotes mini game portions of these things won't really need, like, I can do them without net code. It's another reason why I was thinking about starting to go down this route, is because it gives me a little bit of a break. As I start to add more weight on the net code, I can have these once a week, polishing steps where I haven't added so much that I need to polish it too much. Right. Yeah. I do feel like I am going fast now that I've gotten the netcode stuff figured out. Like, the thing that sucks about this too, Greg, is, like, I was streaming practically every day for a long time, and now that's not ever going to happen again for who knows how long. Like, it'll never happen. So now suddenly when I'm like, okay, I want to do this and this is the thing, now suddenly it's like, oh, I can't do it every day. So go figure. But I guess if we had mining combat, I guess it would be something like blacksmithing, right? So that you're making weapons to then you're making mining picks, armor, and weapons to do all the other things as well. So they could all feed into each other in that way, I think. So, but this is what happens whenever I stream. It feels like, and this is just the lizard brain, but it's like I'm researching, and now it's like, well, have you, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this, you need to. So do I stop researching and start prototyping already? Like, you know what I mean? But I'm just trying to get an idea of, like if I had originally talked about the baking game. That's what I got a lot of redeems for. So I kind of feel married to getting something to show for that for people. But I do think with the mining combat, and then I guess to me, blacksmithing feels like the marriage of those three things. And I've already got the sort of core system for mining and combat with the net code already hooked in. It's all very bare bones. There's nothing really there just yet, but it's there. So now we can start thinking about like a blacksmithing perspective of it. And I think, I mean, even with that, I think the route I would go is to start looking up, like, what does that look like in real life? Because I see a lot of like, you feel a fire, and you're hitting something, and you're like shaping something. So that right there seems kind of interesting, and like maybe enough for something, where you're like trying to keep the fire hot enough, and then you pull the thing out and you work it and you put it back in, and so you're kind of like shaping this thing. Yeah. Tools for baking and fighting materials. Yeah, for cooking. Yeah. Yeah. I made 5 prototypes first to decide what to work on. But I mean, if I'm doing, isn't that what I'm doing though? Like, what about what I'm doing isn't that? Like, do you mean I make 5 different games or 5 different versions of blacksmithing, for instance? Do I just, are you saying to completely drop this and do 5? Because that would have been good advice like 2 or 3 months ago, right? Or 2 months ago. If that's what you're saying to do right now. It's just, this feels like it happens to me a lot. Anything I'm working on, it feels like it's hard because it's like, oh, you should do this. And it's like, well, I kind of have been this whole time. I've made like probably 7 different games in the past while. And I know, yeah. Do what you need to do. So is that, Greg, I'm just trying to understand. Is that what you're saying I'm up to right now? I rarely ever give advice. I just watched so many game dev vids today that my brain is on fire. Are you gone, Greg? The number is arbitrary. I'm just saying that making something that is playable quickly would be a good goal instead of going through months of netcode. Well, I mean, here I am now, so I don't have a time machine. Yeah, I don't know how helpful that is, being that this is where I am right now, right? Um, okay. I gotta stop. I'm gonna spiral here if I'm not careful. Um, um, I don't know. I just was doing some research and I was trying to think about what I could I mean I am prototyping. I guess I'm confused because I feel like that's exactly what I am doing. Like I'm not coding anything, which I feel like is a good way to go instead of making a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think about what it is I would make and doing some research. Isn't that exactly what that Jonas video is that talking about too? Is like not just even before, because I know the one that you're talking about. Um, I thought I was doing that right now. uh, uh, um, well, it does feel like blacksmithing would be the easiest thing to marry the two together. Prototyping. Yeah, but I'm also, so before I even do that, I'm sort of thinking about what could I do so that when I do that, I'm feeling good about what it is I'm going to try and prototype. I'm just watching different baking games to kind of get an idea of like what are they doing, that kind of thing. Like I'm looking for something that I think would be interesting for what I'm imagining overall the entire experience would be like. Um um no, I'm not seeing it as an attack. It's so I buried myself in the net code because I knew that um if I was going to do something with netcode, I needed to feel confident in it. Yeah. No, it's more like I know the way my brain works and I'm going to start to just ditch this whole thing if I'm not careful. And I feel like part of my problem is just not sticking with any one thing, because ultimately I do start working on something and I feel like that's the prototype phase of something and I don't like it and I ditch it. That's like the last over and over and over and over and over what I've been doing. For like, for years now. And this is the thing that I'm showing on the stream, but there is something else that I'm working off the stream. And there's a couple of things that I'm working on off the stream that would fall under what you're talking about, I suppose. But they're very rough things. And some of them are like, I have it in my head, but I can't get it on the page kind of thing, where it's like, I think this would work, but I don't even know, like, there's like certain aspects of it that are too, like, you know how you have a dream and then you wake up and you're trying to remember it and it's not quite, like, as you're talking about it, it's not quite, you can't describe it. That's kind of like where I'm at with one of these things, but I feel like it's a really good idea for something. Anyways, yeah, but I don't think of it as an attack, but it is I don't know. Cuz yeah, I'm actually, I mean, I have just started to make the game. When did I post the I mean, I had to take a break too cuz of Christmas.
Cake, you
So I'm just trying to figure out if I've been spinning my wheels or if I've really been working on it. I just want to reinforce my brain on that one. So the update that I gave, let's see. Yeah, so mining, yeah, a lot of this involved the net code. I forget where I put it. I thought I put that now we could actually start working on the game somewhere in here. I'm just trying to see when it was. So it was in December. And then the last stream over the weekend we did the pulling an enemy and having them go back. We have determinism. We figured out how to do determinism. So now we can have a bunch of enemies on the screen, which is good. Which is what we wanted. Yeah. How you doing, sweetie?
Good.
It's 8 o'clock, sweetheart.
Okay, I finished.
Okay.
The butterfly from the first game came once I was done with the full game, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that second. It is like there's like a technical base to it. Sorry, what were you saying, sweetie?
I think the butterfly from the first game came.
Okay. No, that definitely the multiplayer aspect of this definitely added an element to it. But it is getting to be more and more like as I start to work on it, it is like, okay, what aspect of this has to be part of the multiplayer stuff? The thing I'm happy about though, the thing that I'm excited about though with the roles is that for most of them, it is more of a like a solo experience. Like because it's more like you're going to work on something or do something else. So but yeah, I feel like blacksmithing's probably the way to go. If we have mining and combat, then we have blacksmithing, and then those three things can feed into each other. And I was actually I was talking about that aspect of what I want to do here before as well. Um so it's in one of my old drawings. as far as trying to narrow down one of the roles. I feel like I've done a lot, actually, at least from getting this going. Yeah, here's when we first started. So we started on 1029. I feel like I'm doing okay. For what I'm going after, I feel like we're in an okay spot. But this is when I was talking about the different roles and what could I do as a minimum? Right, here we go. So this was part of the MVP thing. So gather quest rewards, you get things, you craft, you trade and sell, and that's part of the main loop. And on our MVP, sorry, I'm just trying to. I mean, I don't disagree at all with what you're saying, Greg. I know exactly what you mean, and I know that looking at what I'm doing for sure, there's nothing. I know that. So these are the things I was trying to get through to as far as it. Okay, let me explain what my initial plan was, Greg. So to get these elements going through the netcode, because these would be the things that would affect all netcode. So this is the list of things I'm trying to go down through to get it all out of the netcode system. And then once we have that out, then I can really work on all the game built around the idea that you have quests, you have NPCs and dialogue, you have certain aspects, buying and trading, and those kinds of things. So getting all of that out of the way, and then it's like, okay, now I have the systems in place. Now to me, that's like the core thing. And then it's like, okay, now I can prototype like the actual, what you're talking about is like, is this fun? And for me, that would be like 3 ways of doing, for instance, if we have blacksmithing, for instance, like that's where it would be like, okay, well, how could we do this? Like, what could it look like? Because even like, frankly, even what you're seeing me do right now with like the enemies and stuff, that's all like, none of that's anything. And it's not going to even look like that from what I'm imagining in my head, at least. So anyways, but yeah, no, I'm totally with you. But one of the problems with prototyping something that involves networking is, it would be easy for me to make something that would be very difficult to do through netcode on accident or something. Yeah. And it shouldn't make this ish with cubes and spheres, bro. Right. Well, that's what I'm talking about with the with these mini, what I'm calling mini games. That's what I'm talking about. What I said, I don't know if you're here, but what I was saying was the nice thing about the like the baking stuff and everything is that it's not going to involve any netcode. So I don't know if you heard me say that at the beginning of the stream. So again, I mean, that's the point of, the funny thing is you're telling me to do what I feel like I'm about to start doing, which is like it's kind of weird. Like, because I'm the whole point of this stream is I'm starting to look at, okay, what can these different elements look like? That's so. I thought that's what I was trying to take a different approach to my nighttime streams actually with regards to this stuff, because it's hard for me to get into a flow state at night. Just because I'm like super tired and everything. Well, I think like the basic idea I have for that's popping in my head with blacksmithing, for instance, is so there's like a fire somewhere, and there's like because with blacksmithing you heat something up and you have to get it to a certain temperature to soften the metal, right? And then so the flame needs to be a certain heat depending on the metal, and then you hit it onto a Looney Tunes anvil, right? So if we have a player controller that's third person, we can do it that way, or we can completely remove the player controller altogether for this. And there's a hammering action, right? So with a hammer, we could do something with like different ways of hammering something. And then there's usually like a little blowy thing, right? For the heat, you have like this little thing the squeeze bag thing that blows hot air. Right. There's the air blowing. And then so you're working and then you feed the fire. So we could do like wood or coal. It would be coal. You feed the fire, and then you have the little thing that you're cooking, that you're ironing. So you have like a thing that you're putting in there. Trying to... God, I really wish I had a tablet. Fuck, it's so hard with a mouse. Another thing that I've been doing off stream is I'm getting... I have a character. Let me go grab it. Gemma, it's way past time. You need to stop, please.
I'm just gonna finish chopping down the tree. Okay. No. Shoot.
Why is it that you're not stopping, sweetie? Because you can stop anytime with the Switch. So what's the problem?
I got
Because I asked you to get off 10 minutes ago, sweetie.
I got hit by enemies and I couldn't.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Are you ready to stop now?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to show my drawings. I'm doing a bunch of sketches. So what you guys aren't seeing is when I am off stream, when I have time, I'm doing, trying to get back into art again. So I have this Fundamentals of Character Design book that I got my daughter here. And this is I'm really liking it. You like it too, right? Yeah.
like it doesn't have how to draw stuff in it.
Well, it has like form and all that stuff. It's kind of like you just start going. But it goes through like it's from a bunch of different artists. But it's got let me open this up. Oops. Where am I? There we go. Oh, is this showing backwards? No. We're okay. I don't know. It's really good it's got like body types, and it's got like about shapes, and it's about researching archetypes and like how to design characters and a bunch of stuff. So it's just trying to reignite my I came across my old art from when I was in high school and I was doing like the graphic design stuff and everything. And it's like, oh shit, seemed like I was pretty decent. But anyway, so I'm using this as like, okay, this is where I can start to kind of sketch people out. And so my thinking is that as I'm learning Blender, I'm going to sketch out like different ideas of stuff and then throw the sketches into Blender and then try and model them eventually once have that down. And I do with some friends, we do like a weekly FaceTime call where we do arts and crafts, and I realized I could do Blender during that time. We do like this kind of keep in touch arts and crafts call thing, which is kind of silly. But it's nice. And then I have my sketchbook here. I won't show the sketches because my art is shit. And then I'm reading the Oz books and taking fastidious notes and stuff to try and get my ideas of what I'm gonna do with the inspiration from that down. As far as like the quest giving and the world itself, that kind of stuff. I do characters. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's all like I'm working on right now. I'm in the beginning of it, but I'm working mostly on shapes, like square, circle, and triangle, like designs for characters. So shape language. This is what I'm focused on right now. Is this stuff. So I'm mainly just trying to work on, okay, how could I, and this actually inspired the idea of one of my ideas about the character creator, which I actually want to talk to you about, Greg, when we're doing Blender at some point, because I have an idea about being able to pick different leg heights and different torso heights, and that overall determines your character height. And but I don't know the complexities that would be involved with that in terms of bones. But I like the idea that there would be two different torso heights and two different leg heights, which would give you a total of 3 different possible heights for the character. Because like in the land of Oz, you have the Munchkins, and you have like really tall characters like TikTok. TikTok's like medium build but round, and then you have like really tall lanky characters like the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and stuff. And so I feel like if everyone's just chibi, it takes away from that like that thing about it. Anyways, so that's what I'm working on off stream, along with like researching what you guys are seeing me do with the netcode and everything. Oh, what book is that? It's called The Fundamentals of Character Design. It's by Randy Bishop, Sweeney Boo, Mabus Rius Cruz, and Luis Gadia. I'm probably saying the middle name there wrong. So it's a bunch of artists that kind of came together, and they have different. Some of them are animators, and some of them are they're in like different fields of like character design stuff. And they input. Yeah.
Night.
Good night, sweetheart. You sleep good, okay?
Okay.
Love you, sweetie. Okay. Bye, sweetheart. Right. Well, I feel like that's what what's funny is no, I mean it's the sometimes I'm doing what somebody says I feel like I'm doing what somebody says I'm not doing. That like cuz I feel like that's what I was just starting tonight, and then it's like you got to prototype, you got to get a, like, and I guess yeah, without the net code or anything like that, but for me the multiplayer aspect of it was really important, and it's like if I can't do that, I don't want to do this at all. And like to see if I could even, I don't know, make something that I would want to make, I guess. Cause it's a struggle of like, I could just make something that sells really well, which is kind of the sellout stuff that I'm working on offline. Where it's like, I know this would, I don't really care for this, but I know that it might do well, kind of thing. But Mr. D-Boy popped in here the other day and it's like, you just need to do this and just cut out all this stuff and just do this. And I feel like if anybody really knew how this all worked, you know, I think there's some people that have like a good system though, for sure, that works for them. But I do struggle with self-doubt 100%. I feel like this is kind of a friend slop thing too. Like I feel like that's what it could be. What I'm struggling with right now is everyone's advice is do not show your Steam page, do not do anything until the game is basically done. And for me, I feel like that's a really bad place to be. And I started thinking about the reason why I don't want to put this on itch is because, and I know it sounds silly, and everyone's going to tell me it's don't even waste your time. But if I put it on itch, I have to use Godot's exporting, and the code is just easily accessible. All my work would just be available for someone else to yank and start using, which I don't care what people's opinions are about that, but I would like to sort of protect my work as much as possible to just like, but that's just me. Anyways, I started thinking about it and I realized, oh, I can still do the web builds. I just don't put them on itch. I just host them myself. And if I do that, then I should be able to do the encryption for the PCK files and everything, because it's itch that's not allowing it. That's the problem. But if I self-hosted it, then I could get web builds out and people could just play it by going to the browser, and we could get it going without having the Steam page thing going. But you can still do prototypes and stuff through Steam too. So, but I feel the important thing is the lack of friction to get people in chat to be like, hey, just try it right now. I got a new build out. It's there right now. Go try it. Sorry I missed a lot in chat. When you play Fantasy Life, that's what I come here for. Did you see the recent devlog by Arha for Boy? She was making a multiplayer game in Godot too. Yeah, I put a comment on her recent video on YouTube. I scrubbed through it. I couldn't watch the whole thing all the way through. I think it's cool. I mean, she's blasting straight into the Steam side of things and getting the voice chat and everything going. And she's making something totally different than the direction I'm going in. Why even make the prototype have full multiplayer? It was the new way of doing it that I was concerned about. Second, when I got started on it and I started thinking of collecting the inputs and doing it that way, I got concerned about could I even do this? Because the multiplayer is pivotal to fun. Well, I mean, that's what the part where to play with my daughter and everything. That was the part where it was like, I just want to make sure we can do that. Because the multiplayer is pivotal to fun. It's for the idea of the game. It's to me, it's part of it. Yeah. By the way, Cricket, I apologize. Pluribus has gotten so good. Thanks for pointing that out. It's hard for me to like shows. No, I'm glad you like it. We've got a couple more episodes till we're at the final, me and the wife. I'd love to talk to somebody about it once we finished it up this season. There's a lot of stuff in it that I haven't watched any videos on it or anybody's opinions on it and stuff, but yeah, I'm digging it too. I think it's like a really good exercise. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of BioShock, where BioShock's like, if you take libertarianism to its extreme, you can end up with this. And Pluribus, I feel like, is an example of the same kind of thing, but for a different aspect of society. And I have a theory about some of it, but I don't want to spoil. If nobody's seen it in here, I don't want to spoil anything. I love that actress. She's so good. Yeah. But yeah, multiplayer would be a big component of the whole thing. What I was talking about initially was the idea of making a game where, you're playing with your buddies and somebody's like, oh, I need this new gear, but I don't have the stuff or whatever. And the other person's like, oh, I want to make it for you. And like, if somebody wants to go off adventuring, you can be like, okay, I'll carry or pigeon you food and shit. And I'll be over here smithing stuff and everything and send it to you while you're doing that thing. And that thing comes over and helps me do this other thing and so on and so forth. So a bit like the Pokemon, multi-connected, this, rock, paper, scissors kind of aspect of it. But in terms of like primarily moving resources to achieve a larger end. Yeah, when we both have watched it, we need to discuss it. I had the same experiences in WoW. Hey, buddy, you want to play multiplayer? I'll carry your pigeon something while you're smithing over there. You'd have to have the guild member that was proficient in enchanting or cooking or making things for you. Yeah. Et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So the other aspect of this, when I came upon the Oz thing, I mean, that's when you sort of like cheered on the Oz idea, that's when everything sort of fell in place in me in my head, like really quickly about like what it would look like. But so there's a place that you build up, and that's your realm in Oz. This is what I'm imagining. The full picture of this is there's different roles that you can play. You explore the land of Oz. There's all these little quest items and things that you're doing to help people in Oz, blah, 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 blah. You have your realm. You slowly gain renown, and you slowly start building up your realm. And as you get better in each aspect of those different roles, you slowly become more and more powerful. You can visit other people's realms. So the multiplayer part of the multiplayer aspect would be What's your place look like versus what my place looks like? And then just the core game. And if you don't want to do that stuff, then fine. But yeah, 1.5 million sales for Fantasy Life. And this whole time, like, this has been one of the things I've repeatedly said to my wife is, man, there should be another Fantasy Life game. And then it comes out and it fucking does gangbusters. And I'm like, oh, shit. Not that I could have made that. Although, funny enough, like, looking at some aspects of it, I'm like, wow, this is real jank. Like, a lot of it's actually really barren. And it actually is less than the 3DS game, which is wild. Proficient at chanting or cooking or making things for you. Yeah, yeah. I heard it's got real issues. Fantasy Life? Yeah. So anyways, so if we minigame this, like, you know, you put this in here, you stoke the flames, the fire to keep it hot. You bring it over here and then you hammer the thing to shape it. Do you need to see the shape of the thing? Maybe not. So then you got your hammer and you bang, bang, bang. Is the hammer an item you can upgrade or get better at? I don't know. Maybe. So maybe you get better at hammer to bang, 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 perhaps. Maybe you get a better anvil. Maybe you get a better oven. Maybe you get a better windbag. Maybe it's automatic. Maybe you get better fuel. Hotter, longer. The remastering scene is starting to grow. Greg, I'll tell you one of the things that I'm prototyping offline. I don't want to share anything really because it's really just like this nugget of an idea, but I am working on this little thing occasionally when I take the kids to the library or dance or whatever. Actually surprised how quick I could get something going with it when I was at the library in 20 minutes. But it's still like really like there's like this part of it I can't fit my head around yet. Anyways, is there another way we could do this? So from this, I mean, for a person, like if we have our character, I've seen a few remakes and remasters of older games. Yeah. Nah, Greg, I was even thinking like, and this is where I'm trying to stop myself from doing this, where it's like I have a complete working tactical thing. But I don't know. I feel like I can get something out of that for sure. But that's why I'm doing. I think for me, one of the bigger missing links for all of this is the art side of it, and that's what I need. That's why I'm really going to try to start jumping into Blender a lot more, just to really build on it. Because I think of things and it's like I almost have everything I would want to be able to make that thing, but this thing is missing and this thing is missing and so on and so on. And so the big aspect of it is Blender. And I mean, I was hesitant to do anything in 3D for a long time too, and I jumped into it. And I now don't think I could go back to 2D because 3D, you get so much with 3D, with material and with lighting and like all of that stuff. You get all of this look for free. Free as in, you know, you throw these elements in and together and it suddenly becomes this like way different. Right. Yeah, I mean that's what I was trying to do with the tactics thing, and I just hitched my horse to my friend, and I just completely just lost. That was me spiraling when I moved over to the tactical baking thing, and I was just desperate for what can I do with these resources, like if that's the quote unquote gray box. But the problem is I can easily come up with something and then just that's where I'm going to stop. Um yeah. I mean, my motivation, I don't know. I get crushed sometimes. Like I was really proud of what I did with the time that I did the inner tube game. Um and I don't know. I'm not going to try and but I thought I have cachet with some people where it's like, "Hey, could you check this out?" You know, and I've checked their stuff out and it's like, "Oh, I guess I don't." Um cuz I was looking for some it doesn't matter. Anyways, you're right. I'm kind of the same. I need something on there. And part of it too, Greg, is like I need something for the stream. I feel about that too. But yeah, I definitely feel like a failure. Like I'm not afraid to say that. Like lately I've been thinking about it. But I got to remember, like there's so many things I have to remember about all this. Is you can come in and say you just got to bust the prototype out. And the reason why that's even possible to tell that to me now in a way where I know that I could even do something like that is because I have like I think the whole like try a bunch of prototypes really quick and see what you like thing. If you're new to game development and programming, that's actually probably not the best advice. Um you know what I mean? Like so it makes sense to tell that to somebody who has a bank of like, hey, you already know your tool set. Like now just like kind of spread out and see where there's things to do that you would like to do. The best thing that I've heard from in terms of that fishing for the prototype thing and stuff, that's actually why I'm settling on this. I talked about it when I started wanting to work on this was the Derek Yu thing where he says, there's the games that you want to make and then there's the games that you're good at making and then there's the games that will sell kind of thing and it's like you got to find somewhere where like it's in the middle of that Venn diagram. And I feel like this is something that I can do and I feel like the multiplayer specifically is something that to me at least is something that I could do really well. I feel like it. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think I can do it. I can really get it good. Um but that cross section of what is it that I could take me through the long haul of the last 90% of the 95%, the remaining 5% that's 90% of development of making a game, because that's where my steam just goes down the fucking well. But I do think the life thing and the role idea is nice because what I can do is I can just work on it like you're kind of saying, like do 3 or whatever. I can work on just a couple of aspects of that and get those ones going really well and then go, okay, let me add another one in here or work on exploration and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Just
I
be
definitely,
yourself.
I know what you're talking about.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
It's weird, and I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate what everyone says to me when it comes to this stuff, because I do feel like I just run around and I'm sort of everyone's cheerleader. And I'm just like, you know, this person's great and they're doing great things and all that stuff. And I go in their chat and I try to make them laugh or whatever. And then the people that I do that to come in here and they're like, you need to fucking get this shit together. What are you doing, Schultz? And they're like shaking me like this. And they're like, psh, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, but it's all in my head, really. But it's just like, I'm like, I'm trying to build everyone up. Oh man. No. I'm not sorry at all. That's the way my brain just goes and but in the end it's good. It's good to hear that stuff and it's good to think about. I mean, because I'm with you on the prototype thing. I know what you're talking about. I mean, ultimately that's like that approach is what led me to be able to bust that game out in 30 days because I got onto something and I'm like, "Oh, this is actually a lot of fun and everything like that." But the funny thing is, you know, I do all that and I put it into somebody I really respect and they're like, this sucks in like a minute and 30 seconds. And then that was it. And it was like, oh shit. Okay. And, and so I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to pursue that, but yeah. No, I don't think it's self-doubts. I mean, you can't say, I mean, Greg's 100% right. There's nothing here, right? I don't have anything that anyone would want to play or do anything with. All of this is 100% true. So, but again, just to reiterate, my thinking was to get the net code side of it out because I knew I was going to do it in a very specific way. I do want to have multiplayer in this. And I've said it from the beginning, this is multiplayer or bust. It's still a solo game. You can still play it on your own, but I do want multiplayer to be an aspect to this. And so that's like an aspect of this I definitely want. But yeah, I am now to the point where it's like, okay, I can actually make the game. But then I start to do that and it's like, oh shit, I just still need this little element here of this kind of aspect of it or whatever. But back to these jobs and everything, these aspects of the game only require netcode when it comes to the trading of these things. Other than that, the actual aspect of like making the stuff and everything does not rely on the netcode side of things. Yeah. So I am trying to visualize like the dude running around and how that would work. So, like from a top-down perspective, like if we were to do this where the camera kind of raises up and you see them more heads, you see the top of their head kind of thing, right? Then we can have the oven here and like a windbag thing over on the side here. But no, Greg, I 100% appreciate it. I think Els also sort of pushes me in that direction. Although I will say, like, sometimes it's right when I'm at the gestation stage of something that, and all of a sudden, all this like weird energy of like, it's that seems to be when it happens. That's interesting to me. So I guess the windbag would look more like this from above, like it would go like this and have a handle. So you can run over there and fuel the flames, and then you can run over here and put the fire together. And then you have an anvil that you hammer on here. And you're okay. I think this could be something. So okay. So on the fire, if there was two meters here, so it's about juggling certain things. There's like a heat indicator that's like a bar, and there's some sort of range that you're trying to keep for the heat, but you only need to do this when you're keeping, I guess it doesn't even need to be that. No, it's just the fuel. This indicator would be just fuel. So, well, no, it would be heat too. So if we have a bar here and a bar here, like this, and I'm glad you like the show, Doddle. I definitely don't recommend. I don't know if I don't know somebody, I'm not really going to recommend anything for them. And I tend to like things that it's just like don't have a wider audience typically in terms of like my artful kind of stuff. I'm definitely a cinephile though. Like I love movies and okay, so there's like a heat bar and then there's like a fuel bar. And I'm trying to draw with the mouse. This is fucking impossible. And so you can basically always almost be running out. The nice thing about this is if it sucks, one aspect of this sucks, we can just get rid of it. Bring to front. Okay. And so to keep the heat up, there's some line that you're trying to stay within. And really, we could even do this with, what would be cooler is to do this with like a gear thing, like one of those, I wish I could cut a circle in half. So it looks like this. And I guess I'll put a red background on this thing. And then send this to the back. Like that. And then if we had like an arrow, right? So there's some sort of indicator of the heat. And then we have some ideal sweet spot, or at least at minimum needs to be like here. So it could be any more than that, but you would want, like, maybe a sub element of this that you would learn over time is that if you have it hot, you're going to burn your fuel faster. So it's ideally you want to keep it just above that range. So actually when you're going over to smelt, what you want is for it to be cooling down below the range. You don't want to have stoked this thing super fucking high because you're going to be burning fuel that you didn't need to, because you really only need it like right here. Okay, and so then you have this thing that you're juggling. I'm trying to imagine is the player holding it or not. Learning a lot and fast. Yeah. Man, yesterday I had a guy in here. He was like, I thought he was a bot. It was fucking crazy. Captain, damn it, what was his name? Greg was asleep when this was happening because I know he would. I knew he wasn't there because I knew he would have said something. Oh, he never even followed me. He was in here. Oh, what? That's so funny. Anyways, he was cool, but he was backseating in a way and at a speed that I had never experienced before, where he's like, line 14, blah, 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 this is wrong, it's going to do this, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I was trying to explain to him, I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle of a refactor, please, like, I know some things are going to be broken. I might even miss something, but I'm literally rewriting the code as we speak. So I'm moving things around. And it's gonna, but every time I did anything, it's like, now this is broken and here's exactly where it was. And it's like, shit, but he was doing it so fucking fast. He had to have some OCR thing going on too, because, he was like copying and pasting my code and then making notes on it like instantly. Okay. So we'll use really quick, just to make sure I have the resources for this. If you're still here, Greg, though, no, I'm not mad or anything, and I really appreciate, like, because you're 100% right. But as far as like rapid, whoa, what's going on here? Let me get rid of this. And I'm just gonna move this back over here, because I really don't have anything to show for it, and I'm very, very much aware of it. As far as like, there's no game here. Like I'm with you on that. Okay, I'm just gonna go over to itch really quick. Okay, so we're going to use this little set of logs for the fuel, just as like a resource. How do I, is it print screen? Oh, go over here. Print screen. So these little sons of bitches here. So we got fuel here, and then we'll gray box the little windbag. And then do we have something that approximates an oven with our mini resources that we've got from KKit? I think we do. I think we've got like a, oh, there's oh my God, there's an anvil. Holy fucking shit. And there's a hammer. Oh my God, we got everything we need. It's all right here. Look at this. It's got the little holdy thing. So that's over here. Does it have the windbag thing? No, it doesn't. Okay. So this is over here. Does it have an oven? No, it doesn't. Okay, let's go back over here. And we're going to look for the oven thing. I think this is, oh, these are the games he's been doing. I didn't know. That's cool. Why is everything moved around? Oh, we're not in his store. Oh my God, you guys, this whole time it hasn't been updating for you guys. Holy shit. This I've been guys, it's been like 30 fucking minutes of me doing this. Okay. So here's what I was drawing. So initially I had this and I was talking about the windbag and the fuel, okay? And then I made the little poker and here's the anvil and here's the oh shit. Well, that was dead air for like how many fucking minutes? Oh my God, who knows? And then I started talking about in 3D space, like where would the player be and everything like that. And then I was like, oh, okay, if the camera's top down, this is everything that I was talking about that you guys weren't seeing. If the camera's top down, it would start to look like this. Then we would have the fuel here, the windbag here, and then there would be bellows. Okay, so we'd have the bellows, and then we'd have this little thing here that's the temperature of the fire. And what I was saying was you could use the bellows to increase the heat, which would increase the speed at which you would burn the fuel, which would be this indicator here. You'd have a stack of wood here that you could throw in it to keep adding fuel to replenish this bar or some sort of indicator of how much fuel is in there. And the one of the like the metas of this, I would imagine, is that you don't need to, if you blow the bellows and make it super hot, you burn fuel really fast. Sometimes you may need that for the thing that you're trying to heat, but most of the times you don't. So what you really want to do is use the bellows to get it right to wherever your sweet spot is on the heat, right? So there's going to be some sort of ideal temperature. So maybe it's a temperature like indicators here, like numbers or something. But regardless, you get the heat up to where you want it, and that's when you stick in your thing that you're going to work with. So you put that in there to keep the metal to the temperature that it needs to be at, and then you walk away from it and you go back over to the anvil. So this starts dropping down as you're doing this, right? And then you go over to the anvil and you work on the material and you hit it, and there's some sort of indicator that you're getting it close to where it needs to be. You bring it back here, you blow the bellows, get the heat up, put it back in, warm up the metal, bring it back over, rinse and repeat until some sort of indicator here says you've got it, and then you're done making the thing. And so that's what I'm imagining it would be like. So I think the first version of this that I'll try and make is you're moving the character around and doing these things. I actually really don't like for game, like if I'm to talk about negatively about Overcooked, but it's a core part of the design. So I understand I'm criticizing a part of it that is intentional. So I'm saying something knowing that it's actually meant to be that way. In Overcooked, the fact that you have this little dude that you're running around with and everything, and he's like kind of unwieldy to control and everything, it kind of gets me a little mad. So I think what we may do is snap them. Like when you get close enough, it sort of snaps you to that thing. But whatever, we'll just try it where there's an interact thing when you get close to the thing and you press it. So this whole thing doesn't involve any netcode. It won't need any netcode. And we trust the client with everything that happens in here. Again, if somebody wants to cheat, they're just cheating themselves in this, right? So it's not really that big of a deal. The multiplayer aspects of this game are not competitive. So, but anyways, what I'm trying to think of is, God, I'm sorry guys, that was dead air. I think who was telling me that too, and I missed it. I totally didn't get what they were saying. God, that was Rig. Rig, if you're here, I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you're saying. Let me go back over here and where did am I in full screen here? Yeah, I am. Okay, give me a second. Okay. So I think there's an oven in the dungeon. Maybe. Just to have something. If not, I could just, again, it would just be a gray box. Doesn't look like there is. But now, well, see, this is the thing. Now that I'm doing the Blender stuff, I'm more confident now that I'm not going to be like, I don't have the thing. I don't have the thing. Okay, so it'll be a gray box. Okay. Is there anything close to an oven here? I don't see anything else. Nah. Oh, wait, maybe here. Really quick. There's another little anvil. So we could possibly do this one. But we could use the trash can as an oven. Doesn't matter. We just use a gray box, right? So get the oven going. Yeah. So we have the heat management. We have the bellows, the oven, the fuel source, which would probably be coal ultimately. So theoretically, we could have it where you burn wood to make coal. Because you could make, from hardwood, you could make coal, but that's not the best kind of coal. I don't think we're going to care about that. So, but okay. What do we do to indicate that the piece is right? Like the thing that we're making, we can have like a generic, like it just looks like a spear every time to like start with. But like what about this process says that you're done? What I like about so one thing I'm playing around with in my head that I want to do is that there's a grade level for the quality of the item that you make, right? And it's really, that's a skill thing. That it's up to the player to be able to do that well. And that's what affects the grade. It's not about throwing resources at it. It's about being skilled at making that thing. So that it's like, oh, I'm really good at making this. Let me do it really quick. Souls like blacksmithing. Anyways. Yeah, so I guess what it could be is that you can, just like you can overcook something, you could overwork something when you're doing this. So there's like some gleam to the item when you're hitting it, and it's like it sparkles, and that's like perfect, and you got to stop. Metals melt at different temps, so most knives and swords you need to add carbon, so it depends on how detailed you want to be. Okay. Yeah, that could be like the finishing step. Actually, there's a Usagi Yojimbo, the comic has a really good, an entire issue dedicated to the crafting and making of samurai swords, and it talks about the carbon and how you can ruin, even after you've made the sword, it can be ruined if it's not handled carefully. And the owner doesn't take care of it. It happens all the time. You can ruin the metal if you don't hit it at the right temp. Yeah. Yeah, so some sort of indicator on the metal of like where it's at. And that's why this is important here. This is like the sweet spot of like keeping the temp right inside the oven, throwing the thing in and pulling it out. And then you have the pretty light source, and the room's kind of dark, but except for the flames of the thing. And when you get it hotter, it gets brighter. That's real easy to do. The bellows, so we could have a little smoke effect. We know how to do that shit, right? I mean, I feel like we're ready for something right now. Let me see. Would you guys be? Let me see. Let me see what my friend's saying. because I'm supposed to play with my buddy. So we started watching on Apple TV, my son and my my mom, we used to watch the Godzilla movies together, which is like for a 4-year-old, it's kind of intense, but he loved watching those with grandma. There's a Forged Fire channel on Tubi and Pluto. Okay, cool. We add that to the research. Untitled blacksmithing. Why can't it be? Anyways. Bring this in, and then we do an exclamation point on it, right? Did I not? Is this not right? There we go. What is it called? Check out. Forged in Fire. Okay. I'm going to use this as a homeschooling excuse here for my kids. We'll be like, we're going to learn about. He's 40 and likes Godzilla. So we watched the first of the Monarch show on Apple TV, which is like, it's like, these are things that were occurring during the first film, is like the first season. And the end of it, the first episode, this lady is getting eaten alive by, I shouldn't spoil anything, but somebody's getting eaten alive by this stuff and screaming out in terror. And my daughter, I look over, my daughter's like crying. And my son's all like, yeah. And so that's when I knew she was going to end up hopping into our bed last night and spending the night with us. And sure enough, in the middle of the night, she comes in. She's like, I can't sleep. Renin, what engine is this? No engine right now. This is just Obsidian. I have a little link I can give you. Let me give you the link. If I can type in there, and every time I step away. So this is just a markdown thing. So obsidian.md, you can find the software. And but the engine I'm using is Godot. Dude, Tubi is wild. Tubi is OP for free. It's insane. My daughter didn't eat any of these wontons. More for me. Okay. I guess we can start working on it. Let me see my friend. We're gonna play TMNT together. I think it's just really good. Tubi just has really good curation. So they're smaller in volume. And of course there's ads, right? There's a lot more ads than in general. But I think they just pick really good. And I think they're going for Gen X, millennial, early millennial. It's very clearly shaped around that audience. And by doing that, it's actually really smart, because by doing that, they know exactly who to target the ads at. Greg, another video that's related to Jonas's that's really good is about playtesting that I've shared before, but I don't know if you've seen it. Let me track down the link for you. I have it written down. Here it is. It's how to make a better game in less time. I think this is it. Let me double check. It's a good one. But it's about the process of playtesting.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
It's about how to do. Yeah, this is it. Okay. These are the notes that I did for it too. Oh, one of the images is missing. It's from the other doc though. I can grab it. Yeah, it does mention the ethnographic interview format, which is an anthropological way of interviewing people, and it's a good approach to use when you're playtesting. So this is a really good suggestion. Like looking this up and understanding this is really good. Got a small focus group lined up to help out. Okay. Let's mock up a scene. Is that how you spell blacksmithing? Is that even a word? Let's see. The ancient craft of shaping metal, usually iron or steel. All right. There's an anvil. That's from the block bits. I'll just throw this in on here for now. I have this other thing. Let me download that. Let me get this other itch thing downloaded. Okay, that's downloading. Do I have the resource bits? I do. Here's our stack of wood. All right, so something like this. I guess we'll learn what it actually, how the layout of this kind of really looks like. And then we're looking for, there is supposed to be the anvil and everything from the other thing that we downloaded. So I got to get that over. Apparently I already have that. So let me get that in here. Give me a second. This is off stream. Code. Cougar. Assets. Kit. Paste. And extract. Rename. RPG. Tools. Bits. And there's everything. And type. Delete. And delete. That's weird that those are not here, but okay. Let me go over here. We let everything import. Yeah, that's like one of the better videos that I've found, Greg, where there's a lot of people just bullshitting. You know, there's a lot of YouTube videos where it's clearly somebody just bullshitting. That one feels like there's a little bit of braggadociousness to it, but it's all very true. It's back. I mean, yeah. Oh, and another thing that I'll mention. This is a really old resource, but it's full of really good little snippets. It's an old game design book that I have from years ago. So I got this before when I was in high school, before I forgot my dreams of wanting to make video games. It's called Game Design Secrets of the Sages. And anyways, there's some funnily dated stuff in here that some of it's real funny because it really has no meaning anymore. But there's a lot of like really, they picked the right people to talk to when they made this book, because basically every name in here is like gaming sort of legend. And but there's a lot of like questions about different aspects of game development and stuff. Anyways, it's a good like thumb through thing, and there's a lot really good like snippets of but some of it's really dated, especially the genre specific stuff. It's quite funny. And then there's the things about like art that are related to tooling that make me laugh. Because it's just worthless now. Where is it? Anyways, but there's some good stuff in here. It's mostly just about like from the industry perspective of like game development, but it's still, I don't know. And then the other one that's a good one that I have is no, this isn't it. Shit. There's one. It's Game Design, a Book of Lenses, and that one's a really good one for like coming up with idea, and stuff. Todd Codes, I'm sorry I missed your message. How you doing? If you're still here. I'm gonna leave my Telegram open because my buddy's gonna message me on there. That's not what I opened. It was good. It was a little bittersweet. First one without my mom, so it was a little empty, and the feeling of like she asked me like the day I don't want to trauma dump, but she said, you know, make sure that my kids know their nieces and nephew, or you know, their cousins, and you know, my nieces and nephews, and I've been trying so hard to try and get communication going with them, and it's been impossible. It's been a little frustrating, frankly. And I'm just feeling like for both sides of my family, my dad's side, we very quickly got cut off because my mom divorced, right? And then my mom's side was awful. And then I sort of took in my wife's parents as like my adopted mother and father in some ways, and like really loved them. And then it turns out they just hated my guts, and everything I was doing they couldn't stand, and I found out in a really bad way, right? So my mom passes away, and now I'm feeling, and my dad, you know, he left when I was like really, I'm totally trauma dumping right now, but my dad left when I was 11, but I only don't, you know, they divorced when I was 3, barely saw him, you know, I've seen him 2 times since he left. He lives in Germany now. And like, I just feel like now, because my kids are going to get older and they're going to leave, and it just feels like I can't pull anything, like I just don't have anything to pull. Like the holidays are about family and everything, and now it's like, you know, you watch It's a Wonderful Life, and fucking George Bailey has this great relationship with everyone, and even he wants to kill himself, and here I am, like there's nobody. And it's like, like there's fuck. In the holidays, you know, it's typical to get a little down in the holidays and stuff too. But it does feel like I'm desperately trying to like, I don't know. I'm trying to let myself let go of the idea that, you know, it's hard because it's like you get a little afraid to like make friends with people. You're worried that they're gonna sort of, the same thing is gonna happen or something, so you get a little shy with trying to, and people have their families already, so it's not like I can just grab a group of people and be like, hey, let's do like something about Christmas, or that doesn't make any sense, you know. Fuck, did I just break this? So yeah, there was this moment when I was thinking about that a bit. I'm going to delete these import files because I think that's what's screwing everything. Oh, nope. These didn't get moved. That's why they're busted. My mom was kind of a shithead, so I don't miss her, to be honest. Oof, rocking a hard place. Want to honor your mom a bit, but just rough connections, eh? Yeah, no. Yeah, no, there's a lot I'm thankful for, but it's more like this feeling of, I have very similar backgrounds, which is kind of a trip. It sounds like it. Same with second, not second, but same with it sounds like a bit with I don't want to out anyone, I guess, but Jacob is the same. There's like a lot of like weirdly identical sort of backgrounds and stuff. Your kids will have kids, and those kids will be awesome. Be awesome grandparents and new memories. Yeah, yeah. It's just that there's a long period between that typically. It's odd. So hopefully I'm still alive. We'll see. Or I won't see actually, but you know what I mean. I hear that. Hard for me. My family is all in Sacramento. Ah, yes, the Golden Palace of California, Sacramento. I'm just throwing shade at Sacramento. I'm like 3 hours away. Moved here when my mom remarried, and then divorced when she moved back to Sacramento. I'm here with new family, but not my cousins, aunts and uncles, all far from me, all alone here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I think I have to kill Godot. I think it froze on me. I think it's dead. She's dead, Jim. And I didn't save my scene. So we're going to lose that. Ah! Hang on a second. She's back. Okay, we're going to save this. Blacksmithing. Let's reload the project. Hopefully I didn't kill the files. I have to do this all over again. I used to be angry all the time. Even was made to go to anger management and refused to go. Made to go to anger management. How the hell did that happen? What did you do? I yelled at idiots. No, unfortunately, I only yell at the people I love. That's the worst part of it. But I feel like a fucking. It's like, you got like fucking, what's his name? Shit. I shouldn't have clicked there. Who's the guy, the last remaining Marvel Comics guy that took all the credit? Stan Lee. He's like, I created the Hulk as a representation of my unbridled rage. And yeah, that's my Stan Lee impersonation there. But I'm trying to imagine Stan Lee mad, and it seems very hard for me to grep that. That makes me suspicious about his claims about the Hulk. But anyways, yeah, I just I don't know. Did you end up ever going to anger management? Here's what we're going to try and do. I'm going to delete all the import files, and we'll just try re-importing. they're all mixed together. Damn it. Whoa, what if I just search star dot import? God damn it. Get out of my way. I do get mad at inanimate things, though. Greg's seen me lose it on software. That'll happen. There we go. We fixed it. Anvil. Here we go. Got our anvil. Chisel. File. Grindstone. Is this a smithing thing? Grindstone seems like a smithing thing. That seems like a smithy type of thing, like to sharpen. Hand plane. There's names for everything here. Hand drill. Okay. Journal, lantern, lockpick, map, pickaxe, rope, pencil, saw, scissors, screw, tongs. This is what we're looking for. Tong, ta, tong, tong, tong. Okay, we got our tong. Okay, so the only other thing we need is the little thing on the side here. So we're gonna go and say, what the fuck would we call the mesh? I'm gonna check the chat here in a second, guys. Sorry for me getting distracted with this stuff. Billy Badbones, what's up? Did you get angry? You did make it? You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Meditation. I'm a big softie. Yeah. My anger was always at idiots or at work or just idiots in general. It's funny. I eventually became an executive director because I was so humble too, Doddle. If I yelled at idiots, I'd be walking around yelling all the time. Yeah. Mine is like this the thing is like I can kind of feel it coming. And I'm just sort of like just letting it out. But I don't know. It's not good. But sometimes, God, sometimes it's a tool. When the stuff was going on at the hospital with my mom, that's the only time I can think of recently. I mean, I can't think of, besides when my daughter was 4, that I've ever gotten, well, that would technically be family, I guess, but that I've ever gotten and raised my voice with strangers was only that time recently at the hospital. Because it was like we were agreeing to do things a certain way with my mom, and then they would wait until she was drugged up or super loopy to get her to say something else to get things to happen a different way. And it was always like, it made it so that we'd always have to go back to the hospital, talk to the doctors again and go, okay, what's going on? Why is everything changing? She said she wanted this and now this. And it happened like 3 times. And I was finally like, this has got to stop. Yeah. But, and so I did raise my voice then. I said, for strangers, I typically don't get I mean, if somebody's raising their voice at me, then I'm going to match it. Or at least let them know that that's not going to shut me down and not going to go quiet. Like, I'm not going to like start throwing fists or anything or screaming at them, but that's the other time. Actually, that's the other time that I can think of is when my neighbor started saying he was going to shoot Calvin. And I was being very calm with him and very low. And he kept raising his voice and yelling and yelling and yelling. And finally I was just like, I flipped and I was like, okay, if my trying to dispel and be calm is not going to work, I'm going to go up and I'll match you. And so that's what I did. But ultimately, the non-aggression thing is like, I just choose not to interact with him ever again. Anyone who says he's going to shoot somebody, and I've got kids in the yard, or my dog, and I've got kids in the yard and everything, is like not my friend anymore, and I don't want to try and even deal with him. So, did you call the cops? He made an open threat. No, because he's a good old boy, so that would only do me harm. He knows everybody here. That would fuck me over so hard if I did that. So I did not do that. As a kid, I used to get in fights a lot. I grew up in the hood. Yeah. No, there's a way you have to handle yourself in certain areas when you live in certain areas, for sure. Because you have to like carry yourself a certain way or whatever. My wife's seen that happen once. When I was going to meet her at her old job a long time ago. And these kids that were skateboarding, I was in my like 20s. It's like 24 or something. And I was walking down the alleyway to her work to where her car was. And these skate, they were like 17. And I knew what they were going to do. I knew it was coming. And I knew that they thought that they saw someone older that they could just punk. And I'm walking by them and they go, whoa! That kind of thing. And they act like they're going to hit me with a skateboard. And I'm so used to that shit. Like I was like, I didn't even respond to it. Like I just didn't react. I didn't flinch because I knew it was coming because I just, having dealt with that kind of shit. And so when we get in the car with my wife, or at the time she was my girlfriend, and I'm like, I forget what I told her. I was like, you just need to keep driving or something. And she's like, what? And we were passing them by and I was like, fuck yeah. Like I just screamed at them. And then one of them came running up to the side of the car and grabbed onto the side of the door and was trying to like hit me in the car or whatever. But I was just like, but I made them jump. That was the great part about it. They tried to like make me do that and like get me all scared or whatever. And I fucking did it to them. So anyways, it was like, but that's like extremely rare with strain like that. I can't actually, only one other time in high school can I think that I ever really went like wild monkey on them. Like it was just like primal. Getting checked, won the fight, mostly left me on, but yeah, St. Louis is bad. Yeah, it wasn't that bad for me. It wasn't like that for me. I had friends, but I was really young, so I think that was like kind of shielded me from anything ultimately too bad. But then I moved into, but yeah, being the only, I'm the only white dude in public housing and housing in the housing projects in like where I lived, and then I was the only gringo and like the quote unquote bad side of town. And it's interesting. It's like this weird, there's this weirdness to it all where, I mean, it's just othering. You're just the other group. You're in the out group and people that's just what people do. It's a shortcut. But yeah. No, living in those areas, I got jumped. Yeah, dude, I was a big Bulls fan, and I almost got fucking I almost got destroyed. I was like, okay, well, I'm never wearing a Bulls jersey again. Like, oh my God. And then I came back I visited my dad in Brazil, and I came back and I was wearing a Brazilian soccer shirt. Exactly. I had a Bulls jacket on. Yeah, dude, it was the Bulls. The Bulls almost got me killed. But then I came back from Brazil, and I had their soccer jersey on, and that almost got me killed because it it totally makes sense, but it was like I was such an idiot. Yeah, he lived in Brazil for a long time. He worked for a silicone manufacturing company, and then got work from they all got shut down and regulated to non-existence in the United States, and then he got a job offer for a company that did the same thing in Brazil, and then eventually, because he worked with some German manufacturing company that supplied the machinery that they used, and then they offered him a job, and he moved there. Probably learned yeah. Well, and I just stopped wearing, and I still to this day I try to avoid wearing anything with any iconography on it at all, because I just don't want to find out the hard way that I chose something wrong. So nothing with like writing on it, like I typically, but also that's just a personal choice too. But I just found it's just better to just have plain clothes than anything with any writing on it, because I just don't know the symbology of some weird fucking thing that I'm not involved in that's gonna get me beat up. Silicone boobs, yeah, mostly boobs in the States, and then prosthetics like replacement ears and noses for burn victims and stuff. And boobs, mostly boobs. You know what's really cool though is he would bring home these silicone. They would have this like leftover silicone that they would wrap up into these balls, and they were as heavy as a baseball. But when you hit them, they would just fly. And so it was so fun to hit those on a baseball field and do like home runs without even being good at it. That was a lot of fun to play with those. And I remember doing that with him, and then it just exploded. It just exploded silicone. Like it was like a rubber band type thing, only it was about like a ½ inch thick silicone strips. And those were really fun to hit. Somebody should sell those as like fake baseballs. That would be something that would sell, because you can hit those things far. They're so fun to hit. Growling Octopus, what's up? Do a shout out. I gotta do some shout outs here. Hang on a second. I also haven't been paying attention to my friend on Telegram. He's probably, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Oh, that didn't work. I try to be positive about the future, Todd. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I was scrolling back there. It's more like you kind of have this like little morning moment where you're like, oh, this moment means more now, and I didn't realize how much of a cushion, like how much my mom meant to not protecting me, but there was a sense, like I didn't know that I would be losing that feeling of I have somebody, like there's somebody's here that is not necessarily just the immediate, like the parents and the children kind of thing, I guess, if that makes any sense. And realizing there's nowhere we're going for Christmas. There's no one who's coming to us for Christmas. It's just us now. And also, there is a concern that I have where if both my wife and I pass away, like what would happen to my kids? And so that's like a real fear of mine. And I really want to figure something out about that. Like, and I'm thinking on my oldest sister, like I kind of want to have a conversation with her about that. Cause like we need to get something in writing in case something happens. Once met a guy who was in a proper gang through a friend. That guy was full loco. You could tell that guy didn't care about consequences. Yeah, no, I mean, it was weird for me because like I didn't, I just went straight. And maybe this is why I'm such a homebody, but it was like you go in your home. You go upstairs into your apartment and you just stay there unless you're leaving and going somewhere out of town or somewhere in town. Yeah, crazy stuff. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was just, again, it's just being in the out group means that you're a target. Hey. Okay. You want to watch the show? Okay. Okay. This is enough of a working area to do this. So we've got this little room here. We go in here. This is the oven. We're going to interact with this thing. This is going to be the bellows, the oven, the fuel, and we have a little anvil. And then we're going to be holding this, maybe we don't even do that initially. We could just slap it on the model. If we can get it on the right part of the hand, then it should look okay. And we have this little sharpening thing here. So going back and forth between these things, running around. What does our character look like when we throw him in? how big do they look in scale to all this stuff? Let's throw our adventure in. We'll just do the same dude we've always been doing, the Barbian. Let's put this a little bit further back. And we'll do like that. Push it over. That looks pretty good. So if we did overhead, I think that's a little dull. So I think showing it from an angle somewhere, we'll fix the camera somewhere. Okay. This looks not too bad. And so I guess what we need to do is create the interaction elements to this. Strachan. CS, how's it going? My brother is an antelope, I think. We're in Godot. Yes, yes. It might look a little different just because I'm on Arch, by the way. Now I'm using Omar Cheats. I'm in Hyperland with all that shit. Okay. So this is the bellow. Oven. Fuel. Stack. Anvil. Grindstone. Hell yeah. That's hot. Grindstone, baby. And then tongs. This is probably going to be something we just turn on and off on the player character or attach it to the model. Floor doesn't matter. So now for each of these things, do we just create the collision spaces for them? And then we do everything in blacksmithing. Yes, we prefer monoliths in this house. In this house, we do monoliths. Okay, so blacksmithing, here we go. So, whoops. Copied Growling Octopus so I could do a shout out. So, export. So we just want, for sure, fuel stack. Is that how you spell fuel? Am I losing my mind? That's how you spell fuel. Okay. You ever have that? Everyone has that happen. That's like universal. Why, it's the human condition. You mean to tell me you never had piles? Why, that's the human condition. Okay, Doddle, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Do you like the Coen Brothers movies at all? Like, what's the bowling one with the dude? Or Raising Arizona? Or, trying to think of the, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Is any of those? Kingpin? Is that Coen? Is Kingpin Coen? Really? It is? I had no idea. Oh, no, it's not. No, those aren't the Coen brothers. This is something else. I haven't seen a lot of them. No, Kingpin's definitely not Coen brothers. That's the Farley brothers. You're thinking of the Farley brothers. King or the one I'm thinking of is I've never even seen it though. Yeah, True Grit, and they did that. No Country for Old Men. Did they do that? I know they did True Grit. The Great Lebowski. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. So, anyways, The Lady Killers. If you haven't seen that, you might not like it on first viewing. But The Lady Killers, I really enjoy, and it doesn't get enough love. It's got shoot, he's really big now. The guy who played Jay Jonas in the original Spider-Man movies, and Tom Hanks is in it, and one of the Wayans brothers is in it. But dresses up as Colonel Sanders. He kind of looks like him, yeah. But he's a yeah. He's a con man who's trying to. She lives near the Mississippi, and their gambling's legal on in the water, on boats, not on land. But they take the money and they place it on land after the end of the day. So he rents out a room in this old lady's house to tunnel a hole in her basement to the. I'm totally spoiling the movie. To get the money. Oh God, it's a certain kind of. It's like a dark humor. It's vulgar, but it's also like I don't know how to describe it, but that's one of those movies where I love it, and I just don't think very many people like it, and I'm just. It makes me so happy. I would say if you're not the opening scene, if you're not laughing at the opening scene, which is literally like what happens right after the opening credits, then it's probably not for you. But it's great. I love it. I've seen Fargo. Yeah. Yeah. It's added to my server. I'll watch later. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's a certain kind of like the Coen Brothers movies. I watch them, and the first time around, I'm like, what was it I just watched? Like, I always feel that way after I watch other movies, and then I just can't stop thinking about them, and then I go and watch them again, and I just love it.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool?
Yeah, cool.
You think it's cool?
It's cool.
Sequi, thank you for the raid. I hope your stream was good. I was watching it a little bit. I was getting distracted at the beginning of my stream watching yours. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, everybody. I saw M was there. Tappier was there for a little bit. I don't know if they were still there. But welcome in. We're working on, we're going to, first like game-ish thing that we're working on is a blacksmithing, air quotes, mini game. So the idea here is that you're going to have an oven, which I guess we could color it black. And make it like gray. So you're going to have an oven, and you're going to have a bellow, which we'll make brown. And give me a moment here. Not a shader material. We want an actual material. Standard. Albedo. So long. Good night. Good night. All right. Albedo. All right. There's our bellows. We got okay, so here's the ding. Strange movie. Yeah, it's supposed to be like Shakespeare, right? It's Shakespeare's is it Tempest? It's like a modern retelling of that, I think. It's one of the Shakespeare plays. It's the Odyssey? Okay. It's one I couldn't remember off the top of my head. I thought it was more on Shakespeare. I had a blast. Yes, thanks for the shout outs and everything. Fun time beginning to make my fig management. Nice. Yeah. You know, another movie that I liked of theirs is called shoot. It starts out with a Jewish fable. It's like A Strange Man or something. I forget the name of it. They have an interesting interpretation of God in their stuff. Of the Odyssey. Oh, okay. Albedo is how you say is how you just said albedo. I'll beat you. I'll beat you. Yeah. I like the way that they portray, like, maybe I have seen Lady Killers. It's been a while. I like it. I like it. I always make a reference to Sound of Music when I say albedo because it makes me think of that song that has nothing to do with it, but it sounds like it roughly. So I roll with it. Okay, let's see. This is fine. It looks like poop. It's perfect. Okay. So there's our thingy. Okay, and then what we're talking about is we're going to have a UI here that looks like, can I click through to this? It looks like this. So this is, there's going to be a little meter over the oven, and you'll blow the bellows to keep the heat at a certain part. What time is it? I don't want my wife to fall asleep. It's 10. Gotta hit the hey. Have a great stream. Thank you so much. You too. Or I should say I do as well here shortly. I watch a ton of crap. Like bad stuff or just like a lot of stuff? I could take that anyway. Oh, we need the hammer. And we need the hammer. So anyways, yeah. So there's going to be a meter here, and then there's going to be a fuel indicator. Might even be able to do that visually in here as it like sinks down. But I'm not a fan of diegetic like interface when you're dealing with systems like this that rely some amount of accuracy. So probably won't do it that way. And then we're going to have a hammer. Good, bad, average. If it's a movie, I watch it. Even TV show. I may have watched it. I've seen. Yeah, no, What episode are we on, Bear? Can you check? Because there's only 9. Oh, we were on the middle of 7. Here's hammer. It's Mjolnir. Look at that. Okay. You drove me off the drill. I'm excited to wake up at 4 a.m. to a full-blown sweat like I haven't last week. Dude, I'm so sorry, Greg. Well, don't forget you have the visit tomorrow. You got to go to the hospital. So don't forget that. But I hope your perker is a little more perky soon. I'm on 5. Okay, we're on 7. Yeah, we're watching it too. Doddle's watching it. I'm on episode 7. Have you seen the whole thing? We haven't seen the whole thing yet. We gotta have. You know what we need to do is we need to have like a Plurbis post watch stream and just like we'll get on Discord and we can all talk about it. I have a theory about something about it, but we'll see how it wraps up in the end of the season. I love the actress. She's good. Yeah. She has to carry the whole thing. Is 10 is so there is a 10th episode? Cuz the season's all done, right? And it's going to be a long time until season 2. You know something about it that I think speaks to everyone right now? It reminds me of how Battlestar Galactica, the remake of BSG, tapped into 9/11 fears in a really deep way, where I think if you're the age that we were when it came out, if you watch it now at the same age as we would have been when it came out, it doesn't resonate the same way, because that sort of like that vibe of the meaning of the like attack and everything. And so I think Pluribus is tapping into a post-COVID. Remember when we were all distanced and separated? Like, it has this like subconscious thing that talks to us in a like a subconscious way about that moment in time that we all sort of shared. I think there's like a little bit of that in there as far as like why it sort of, besides some other stuff obviously, but that feeling of like, you know, something about that what is it, cultural psyche. It kind of plays into that a little bit. It's interesting. Talk through 1 through 5. yeah. But I think I should wrap up, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and call it 3 hours. We have a rough outline of what we're gonna do here. We're gonna create the collision spaces for this. We're gonna hook into them. So we have the oven, anvil, grindstone. Those are the interactable elements here. And yeah, we'll wait. Okay. We'll come back to this hopefully tomorrow night. I had a big nap with my son. It was a good one. Oh, these are those aren't live channels. I was like, damn, M's got 255 people watching it right now. I was like, oh, what is going on there? Hey, we can raid Zed. Zed's always giving us some love.
Person. Do we
Johnny Waffles, I'm just about to leave, dude. Oh, you haven't seen what I've been working on either. Hopefully I'll see you around, man. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go do that with my wife before she falls asleep on me. That's why I'm bailing. I know, Johnny. Sorry. Johnny Waffles is still alive. Johnny Waffles is still alive. All right. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Maybe hopefully tomorrow we'll start working on these systems here. 5 movies in the queue. All right, CS. All right, much love to everybody out there. Bye-bye.